Many hair transplant results can still look obvious, detectable, and artificial. This is, however, not gonna be the case with our today's top 5 celebrity list with the most undetectable hair transplant results you have ever seen. Results where even the best hair transplant doctors would have trouble distinguishing whether this was a hair transplant or not if they had never seen these people before. So if you want to find out who these people are, make sure you stay tuned. And as always, before we start, shout out to our sponsor GoFiber. These are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice and try them out. See if you like them. The celebrity who is starting our top 5 list is Machine Gun Kelly, and I've made a video on him as well, so make sure you check it out if you want a detailed breakdown of his case. Here we can see that his corners have been definitely lowered, and also I think the hairline in the center has been pushed down a little bit before and produced a very natural and pretty dense result considering his pretty fine hair. At least he has the finest hair out of the all celebrities I'm going to be featuring in this video. Even during the buzz cut, we can notice that the hair flows naturally. It's obviously not as full as the hair on the sides here, because here we see that it's less dense, but that's normal, especially if you have fine hair and straight hair. Obviously, if he grows it longer, it's looking definitely better, and there is a proof right there of the FUT procedure that he has done before as his first surgery. By now, he has also done multiple FUEs and likely even multiple FUTs. I'm not tracking it right now anymore because he has probably done so many. Before, again, he did probably the biggest comeback out of all of the guys you will see in this video, but it's pretty damn undetectable, all right? I think the only way that maybe takes away from the hair transplant being 10 out of 10 undetectable is his pretty fine hair, and sometimes when the sun shines through that hair, then you could maybe guess that, yeah, there was probably a hair transplant if you really know about hair transplants a lot or you are a surgeon. But nonetheless, this is a really cool and full result, and definitely looking great on him, and it's an amazing comeback nonetheless. The celebrity number 4 on our list is Bradley Cooper, and although his hair comeback wasn't as obvious and strong as by Machine Gun Kelly, we can notice his recession in the past, like in his early 30s when he started, you know, becoming like that Norwood 2, almost to Norwood 3 transition on some pictures, with diffuse hair loss also across his frontal hairline. He was combing it over until he decided to get his hair transplant and level off that hairline. He probably had something done on the hairline already with the corners, so to maintain that like strong hairline presence for the future, so he can keep slicking the hair back and covering more hair loss once it's going to uncover on the mid-scalp and crown. And he has actually a great hair to pull this off. He's having Italian and Irish roots, and this is like a great hair also for doing that slick back with long hair as he has it here. Once that hair loss will uncover maybe on the crown or mid-scalp, but I don't think he has so much hair loss at the moment. I think he's able to manage it well with medication, because even with like shorter cuts, we can see how his hair is looking very strong and healthy on his sides and top. That makes him also a good candidate for multiple future hair transplants because his donor looks pretty strong. So I think he's definitely well positioned by now. The hairline is looking pretty full and, you know, dense. He has never done anything on the temples, in my opinion, because they're looking the same receded as before, and having that like weaker slope is not as high positioned as by some other celebrities you will see later in this video. So, but nonetheless, it was an amazing hair comeback, in my opinion, and comment below what you guys think. The celebrity number 3 on our list is Lewis Hamilton, who actually made like probably the biggest jump as far as before and after, as you can see right here, from receding frontal third, diffusely thinning, all the way to here. That is looking very sharp, and obviously hair fibers and concealers will be probably a big part of his hair game as well. Maybe some scalp micropigmentation underneath to make that look super strong on the hairline and minimize the see-through effect as much as possible. Probably not just the result of a hair transplant. I think he has done multiple FUEs, to be honest, by looking at his donor zone. I think the first one that he got, that was a major transplant, and after that, probably smaller FUEs, like touch-ups, because we see that his donor is already like thinned out, like pretty decently, I would say. I think he still could do some more jobs, but again, I think that is already a result of multiple FUE surgeries. We can also assume that he likely has some recession on his crown as well, and this was before probably 10 years or even more. So by now, if he's not on medication, he probably will be bald there. So I think he probably also had some procedure done on his crown by now, and he's definitely on medication, or at least he has tried medication. Otherwise, right now he would not be able to do so. Recently, we have been seeing him with braids a lot, so that's also probably the reason why he's doing it, maybe kind of slicking that hair back and camouflaging that potential hair loss on his crown. This is something that is usual with guys also who are Caucasian hair origin, who are balding crowns and doing that slick. This is what many guys with hair transplants do over time as they kind of progress with hair loss on the crown, and they just let the transplanted hair on the front grow longer and slick it back. I think he's trying to utilize it in a similar way with his braids, all right? So again, that was Lewis Hamilton and his amazing hair comeback. The celebrity number 2 on our list is Chris Martin, and we are looking at him 20 years ago in 2001 with that recession on the corners as well, also temporal hairline receded. And on the right, you can see him right now with a much better defined hairline, and although he didn't do anything to his temples, in my opinion, he definitely had some work done on the frontal third, made it look dense, and the hairline has just much better frame. And if you have such a natural looking hair in a buzz cut, or at least it's close to a buzz cut, okay, then you know that you had a great work done. I don't know who he went to, but it was definitely done right. Probably had many surgeries done over the years. Before, he definitely had a pronounced Norwood 2 to 3 balding, hair loss progression uncovering on his scalp, and it definitely didn't look as good as it looks today. He wasn't able to get that high volume on the front with his recession before compared to now, where we notice him with a crazy good volume on the front once he starts letting that hair grow longer. It also starts curling quite a bit. It's unusual for a Caucasian hair to be like that, and that's no wonder because his mother actually comes from Zimbabwe. This is again one of the best Caucasian hair subtypes that you want to have. And the reality that sometimes his hairline looks a little bit less defined and the other times it looks a little bit better. Maybe it's different lighting, maybe not. But nonetheless, I think he probably had multiple touch-ups done on that hairline, because again, sometimes it's looking a little bit more fuller and sometimes it's looking a little bit receded. So who knows, guys? But again, definitely a hair transplant or several hair transplants over the course of his life. Now the top 1 guy on our list is James Franco. For all of you guys who have been following my channel for a while, you know that I've already done a detailed breakdown on his hair transplant, so you may want to check it out later. James Franco had a pretty smooth ride with his hair over his 20s and even early 30s. It looks something like that, so he wasn't the type of guy who went bald early in life, so definitely emotionally it wasn't so hard on him with his hair loss. However, it changed a little bit when he was in his mid-30s. It started to diffusely thin around the corners, turning him into possibly even Norwood 2.5 based on which angle you are gonna choose. And here you can see what happened to his hair just in a matter of 1 year. Much more definition in the hairline. I don't think he lowered it too much. He just filled in his corners and also framed his temples much better. I also don't think that his temples, the temporal hairline, was brought forward too much. I think it was just better framed and dense packed. It's looking super natural, and even the best doctors would have trouble telling whether this was a hair transplant or not if they had not seen his case before. And although we have never seen his raw hair transplant anywhere, I think it could have looked something like that, like this guy who got about 1700 grafts. His temporal hairline was brought a little bit forward and his anterior hairline also kind of squared off, and he got less than 2000 grafts. Obviously, I think Franco did have less hair loss. He had more diffuse thinning in these corners and they were not as empty as this guy, and then it was densely packed along the hairline, and the end result is like that. And with Franco, it's looking also quite similar, as you can see here, okay? And this is actually what the best doctors in the world like to do sometimes. They like to include many of such results, like, you know, Franco's hair type, Caucasian, pretty thick, you know, he has the Portuguese roots. No wonder his hair looks similar like that. And this is really the best hair type you want to feature if you are a hair transplant doctor, because this is the best hair you want to work with as far as Caucasian hair type. It's the thickest type of Caucasian hair. It's dark, it's wavy, and it's pretty full once it's gonna be grown out. So great result, James. It was a great decision that you decided to keep your hair and made it even better over time. So props to that. Now for all of you guys who are interested in a hair transplant and you want to maximize your hair transplant success, avoid all the possible pitfalls you can encounter and mistakes you can do when doing a hair transplant without the proper knowledge, make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can learn more about my consulting services, where I can help you and guide you one-on-one. And if you feel like you are not ready for a hair transplant yet, that's alright too. Just make sure you watch this video next. That is about top 5 celebrities who are the receding hairline masters. Watch how these guys are able to bring their hair to another level despite experiencing obvious balding. So make sure you click it now and I'm gonna see you there. Take care, everybody.